You ready for this, Zach?
I'm ready for this, Hector.
It's season 5, and it's for all you fans out there. The Degenerates is coming back. We're having a next week, having our first episode of Degenerates with our live draft pick order for the crew out there. We have going on Instagram our profile picks for the previous season that
They're
Zach
gonna.
and I had just built up some pretty decent good ideas out there. And don't oh man, I'm excited. I don't know what about you, but I'm excited because Degenerates season 5 is gonna be chock full of just chaos.
It's gonna be lit. Hello and welcome to another episode of Breaking Down the Tape. I am Papa Smurph.
Oh, and I'm Hector, and I'm ready to say what I say on these topics today.
And to Hector's opening, man, yes, super excited about the Degenerates next week. Doing the live, getting the draft order. So for those of you who are longtime listeners of the Degenerates, we generally do the draft order like an hour beforehand. But this year, since we're getting really competitive in the league, we're going to do it a little bit ahead of time and let some people, namely myself, mock draft because we all know what's going to happen the night of draft night, and I'm going to be blacked out by the end of the third round. So we're at least trying to get some strategy involved so that I can.
Yeah, you know what? It's 5 years in, 5 seasons in. Let's switch it up. Let's give it a little pizzazz. Keep everybody, on their toes. This year, instead of doing the random hour before, we're going to do a random pick per player, see where they're going to draft throughout it. So they have about a month or I would say 3 weeks of mock drafting. Draft will be August 22nd, 7 p.m. We will be doing a live draft, me and Zach, and if any of the other, I would say, enemies, rivalries, and family members in the club, in the Degenerates that want to hop on, will be able to hop on and shoot the shit while they are drafting.
We had a pretty good time last year. We had a pretty packed crowd, I believe, last year, and we had a good time.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. And like we said, just switch it up a little bit. So we're gonna do a set instead of an hour before. Everybody would know, next week where they're gonna be drafting. Also, there's always money in the pot. There's always a trophy to be won. And let's get this dogfight just going.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I can't wait for next week. But this week, talking about this week, we've got a little bit of a simple and super convoluted episode. Simple because we're covering literally 3 things, and that is the MLB trade deadline, in which Hector is going to walk me through all of the madness that happened then because my phone wouldn't shut the fuck up. And then we're going to be talking about Deshaun Watson. And Hector, fill me in because I forgot the other one. I believe it was
Tom Brady, Dolphins, and the Sean Payton.
Yeah, that's right. The scandals. You can tell this is clearly a well-produced and thought-through podcast because we talked about it 10 seconds before I got on air and completely forgot about it. And we all know I'm too lazy to cut it out, so that's going to remain in. Anyway, so we've got a pretty simple episode. We'll be talking about scandals. We'll talk about baseball. Before we get into it, I got to get better at this. I want to give our sponsors a shout out. That's the guys, the men and women over at
Not these guys here. Not yet. Not Yingling.
Shout out to Yingling. They could be part of this if they wanted to. But we got Flash Cap with the custom engraved tumbler. That's for you guys to win. We've got the Matic 6 over here, which dispenses with the fun button all of your liquor needs into your drink, so you don't have to bring glass nowhere. We've got a couple of stickers from them. We got a couple of stickers from us, and look what came in the mail. Some merch, baby. Some Breaking Down the Tape merch.
I like the color blue.
Right? I tried to make it like everyone, an everybody kind of thing instead of just a strictly male or female. Everyone can wear that kind of blue. So yeah, we got the Instagram post that you guys can go to for the giveaway. Like, follow us, follow Flashcap, and comment at least one friend's name to be entered to win. We will announce it on the first Breaking Down the Tape live, in which we do a game. That will not be the Degenerates live. That will be for the first week of the regular season of the NFL. So that being said, love you guys at Flashcap. Love using their products almost every goddamn day, and go get you one. Anyway, Hector, let's talk some baseball.
Hell yeah, bro. Let's do it. It's fucking, more than halfway through the season now. We're about 105, 106 games through the season for most teams, give or take a game or two.
Yankees are the first to 70. I do know that.
The Yankees were the first to 70. The Dodgers, however, technically by percentage points, and I think technically with the Yankees losing today, and I think the Dodgers may have won. Dodgers take first in all of baseball, but that's neither here nor there. We're still 2 games over the Astros, which is a very close race for the AL best record, which leads to home field advantage going into the ALCS and World Series. The MLB trade deadline came to a stop just this last week, and it was probably one of the most interesting trade deadlines and the most active trade deadlines that I've seen. I don't know about you, Zach, but that I've seen in a while.
I feel like this was a red carpet event. Like this was a star-studded affair. I feel like every star, like the Yankees were taking calls for Torres. Who knows? Was Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, Juan Soto, Benintendi. Like I feel like nobody. Like this was the first trade deadline in which I feel like absolutely nobody was safe. Like the Yankees could have traded anybody.
The only person I was like, there's no way they're gonna even think about just letting a rumor go out that he's able to go up for talks is Judge. I was like, that's the only one that he off limits until the season's over. Everyone else was like, yeah, he might go somewhere else.
I don't know, man. Like I said, with the way that everybody's name was being thrown around, oh, this team is securing a trade package for that guy and this and that, and I wouldn't have been shocked if, like, last second, my phone went absolutely bonkers and Aaron Judge gets traded to the whoever for like half of their team. Like, it would honestly, it was so crazy that minutes before the deadline, I honestly thought to myself, the Yankees are probably going to do a trade for like Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout for Aaron Judge. And that was going to be like something that popped up across my phone.
Ohtani was up, and they grabbed up there was talks for Ohtani, and I do know that one of the teams was the Yankees, who threw up an offer, and then ultimately it was just a no-go.
Right.
With Trout's injury, I know talks went, a little bit more south.
Right.
Because of, that rare little injury that he was having, and people don't know what's going on with him. But everyone else was just like, it was just bonkers the way these teams were maneuvering, and some of these teams, the way they won their trades is like, wow, like some of these teams are actually making a real push in the playoffs right now. Like, I know you got the dominant teams like the Astros, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Mets, like they're doing their things up top in the league. But then you got these guys battling for wild card spots and like those second and third spots, possibly trying to like maybe try to make a push for a division win, that like made some crazy moves, like how Seattle went for a move and got Luis Castro.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone thought that Yankees were for sure were going to grab him up.
Mm-hmm.
Pan out. And you know what? He went out, pitched a fucking gem against us today.
Yeah, that sucked to see. And then you got teams like the Nationals. So you're right. That's a thought that I had to myself that I didn't articulate as well as you. But yeah, there was a lot of teams making honest pushes at the World Series. And honestly, I feel like this is one of the more competitive baseball years because it's not just going to be the Yankees and the Mets as if it was, this entire season. Now, obviously, the Dodgers haven't been some nobody team the whole season, but the Dodgers have now built their own bomb squad. You've got the Padres with Juan Soto and Tatis Jr. on the same team. What kind of egregious bullshit is
I mean,
that?
whenever Tatis Jr. is gonna come back, but yeah, with him, Manny Machado, Tatis Jr., like they sent Luke Voigt in the trade to bring all that together, but that's neither here nor there to grab that bomb squad of a trio.
And then you have teams like the Nationals who are just selling it all. Like there's no, at least I feel most times in baseball, there's at least some subtlety, right? Like teams, oh no, we're not in a rebuild. No, we're trying to compete. We're trying to compete. But yet they, sell their team, piece by piece. I feel like teams like the Nationals just sold. Like they're not even lying to you at this point. Like, yes, our season is done. We don't care if we win another game. We're just
I
selling
mean,
everything.
look what they did in a 4-year span. They disbanded a World Series championship team where they had the likes of Bryce Harper, Matt Scherzer, Rendon, Trey Turner, Juan Soto. Like you had a
Everything.
dynasty. You went it all for one chip, and then you just dismantled it after that.
Yeah, that's I don't know. Like the Nat Washington fans, you good? Like, my God, I cannot imagine. Like you said, it was what 4 years ago that they won the World Series, and now all of a sudden, fuck it, absolutely fuck this. Like what?
But look at these trades. Going on with the Yankees, first of all, the last trade that they did was trading away Jordan Montgomery, who's been with came up from the farm system for this team. Been with the Yankees 5 or 6 years. This is all he knows. He was devastated about leaving the team. But they traded him for a Gold Gloving outfielder and uh, Harrison Bader from the St. Louis Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I Now we're getting a little bit crowded in the outfield,
Notice that.
but it looks like it's going to be an outfield by committee.
Which I think is, I think all signs at this point, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, are clearly pointing to Judge not being with the team at the end of the season. Like I feel like because it was a little shocking for them to go after the outfield, especially given how many players they do have on the roster right now. And I think with that being said, that it clearly makes a point to Judge will not be here. I don't think the Yankees are going to negotiate with him 1 second. They'll give him an offer. They'll say this is what it is, and if he declines it, he's gone. Personally.
You think they're bolstering up the outfield because Judge is going to be gone and they're trying to figure out who can replace the outfield.
Well, I
They're
think
trying people out.
Well, not some maybe trying people out, but I think it's more of a we know we can't replace you with one person, so we're gonna get 2 or 3 people to do it. I can't replace your fucking 50 home runs, and we're not even through the season yet. I can't replace that, but with one person. But I can replace your on base percentage with 2 guys. I can replace your runs that you've earned us, with 3 guys in the rotation. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's more at least for the time being, because they do have that fucking monster nuke machine in the farm system. So at least for the time being, I think it's more of a we're moving on from you, and in the meantime, we'll use this committee approach.
Which is weird. Going into another part of their trade, they ended up trading Joey Gallo away to the Dodgers. So
I
you're
was
trading
stunned.
between a championship rival, like someone who you might actually meet in the chip at the end of it. Like, what happens if you meet how would this bite the Yankees in the ass if they go to the World Series, they meet the Dodgers in the World Series,
I would love
Joe
to.
Gallo, Joe
That's an easy
Gallo
out.
wins a game winner off of them.
If Joey Gallo hits like a World Series winner off the Yankees, put me on suicide watch. You call the fucking, what is it, 988 now? You call the fucking suicide hotline and put me on suicide watch. If Joey fucking Mr. 138 fucking Gallo hits a game winner, a World Series winner off of Garrett Cole, we'll say, whoever, fucking for the win, put me on suicide watch. Because I said it last week. I didn't think they were going to be able to trade him to a fucking little league team. Nonetheless, the fucking Dodgers, who are making a push at the series, like, come on now.
I heard a little article that Joey Gallo was like, yeah, the New York Yankees fans like treated me like shit, and like it was rough to play for them, and it's like, yeah,
it was rough to watch you.
Yeah.
Like, God thank you, I didn't spend a fucking single penny on the game. Otherwise, I'd be like, yo, fuck you. I'd be out there screaming.
We try to give you some, but
yeah, no,
if you can't cut it, you can't cut it.
Yeah, I'm not.
The New York spotlight ain't for everybody.
Yo, bro, honestly, I'm not. I wish him all the best of the luck after this season, but I'm not gonna say that I'm upset that Joey Gallo's gone.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, we gave you some shots. You were still in the starting lineup, even as bad as you were hitting.
Mm-hmm.
We knew your defensive prowls were great. Like, we were trying to give you the chance to you still hit the ball hard. Like, okay, so I'm gonna give Joey Gallo some credit here. So I pulled up the stat because I was curious the other day. If you pulled up Aaron Hicks's stats for the season and Joey Gallo's stats for the season, they're comparable. If Joey Gallo got they almost had the same amount of at bats, about 20 or so at bats off. They're both around 230 at bats.
Okay.
Aaron Hicks was batting 230. He had 67 hits. Joey Gallo had 37 hits and batting 1-something. So just put that into perspective. But Joey Gallo had 12 home runs. Aaron Hicks had 6.
Mm-hmm.
Put this into perspective. If Joey Gallo was just to have 30 more hits, he would be batting 230, the same as Aaron Hicks,
and
probably have almost 20 home runs, and no one would bat an eye about how much he was striking out or anything because he was producing. That was producing for him.
Sure, I agree with you wholeheartedly. But let's put it also this way. Aaron Judge has more home runs than this dude has hits. Like,
I mean, and that's going to happen, though. You can say that about many players.
Yeah, I guess, but those players don't have the same kind of fucking strikeout percentage that fucking Joey Gallo does. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy the Yankees moved him. I hope that he becomes easy out at least 3 times a game if the Yankees have to play him in the World Series. And that's the end of the Joey Gallo experiment in New York.
He couldn't sit into the spotlight. Like I said, the New York lights, they shine bright.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets the pressure under those lights, they weigh more than you think.
Yep.
And if you can't cut it in the concrete jungle, you can't cut it in the concrete jungle. This is what it is.
Amen. What other big trades you got for me? Obviously, there's Juan Soto and Josh Bell.
Juan Soto, yeah, we got this Juan Soto thing, right? So they send Juan Soto and first baseman Josh Bell from the Nationals to the Padres for a plethora of players, some players to be named later, and a shit ton of money.
Isn't there what's going on with this guy? What is his name? Hamler, something Hamler, who got traded to the Nationals, but he has a no trade clause, and he declined.
Eric Hosmer was supposed to be part of the deal. From the Padres to the Nationals.
Right.
He has a no trade clause. He signed until 2025. He said no. He was like,
So,
yo, fuck that. Like, I want part of this winning culture over here. Like, I'm
so
saying,
does that mean that the trade is a no-go, or do they just find another
so they
player?
fixed it up. They did other trades. They did other players. They still got the trade done. Now, what
Gotcha.
happened was, what happens with Eric Hosmer? He just declined that. So now he's salty.
Yeah.
He's mad. You were about to trade this guy.
Right. Right.
They're like, we got to figure something else out. Well, little to behold, they figured something else out. They send him to the Boston Red Sox.
Ew.
Yeah. They just sent him to the Boston Red Sox and got, I mean, I don't know what they traded for him, but they got, at least he's out of there now. Because, like, you can't do that to that player. Like, now, like, the man, you you piss the man off and you think he's going to, like,
Yeah, you can't hold on. You can't be like, oh, yeah, we like you, but we're trading you. Oh, shit, you can decline it. Oops. Like, how did that, like, was that just like an oversight? Do you not know what the man's contract looked like? Were you just so giddy about getting Juan Soto and Bell that you were just like, let's just trade whoever we can, and then
I
never
mean,
looked? It was like, oh, fuck.
I bet they were probably hoping that he'd be like, "Yeah, I'll accept the trade. I'll be part of the deal. I understand it. Business, blah 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 blah." But he was like, "Nah, I got a no trade clause. Like,
Yeah.
nah, I
I'm
ain't
not
going
taking
nowhere." Like,
I'm not taking one for the team.
listen. The Padres and Zach and I'll stand by it because I said what I said at the time. We thought the Padres were gonna go so far and deep when the season first started. We were predicting the Padres possibly World Series runners with Tatis and Machado, and the way
Mm-hmm.
this team was gonna be built with Luke Voigt, and like we thought this team was gonna be like, yo, they potential World Series champions.
Yeah.
We stand by that. You know, now you add in and Tatis Jr. is still not playing yet. He's still injured. Just imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're adding in a 23-year-old Juan Soto to a Manny Machado in his prime, to a Tatis Jr. about to hit his prime. Like, this guy's like, Eric Hosmer is probably just standing there like, nah, bro. Like, I see chips and I can contribute to this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't
And
going nowhere.
especially to the Nats, like the team that's like completely nuking their roster. Like, yeah, let me just go to the Nationals to let my career die. Like, no, I don't blame him. I don't. At least now he's with the Sox. At least now this is like a potential kind of organization as opposed to like, great, I'm going to die here on the Nationals. Awesome. So I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit.
Nah, not at all. Like, he was so, but in all, they ended up finding his trade to. I'm pretty sure they sent it to Boston to get him out. They accepted the trade, and they made a quick deal right there. Another quick move that I thought was very interesting. As much as the Yankees have been making moves, and another before I get into it, another move the Yankees made were for two pitchers, Trevino and three pitchers, Trevino, Scofis, and Matas. Excuse me if I'm getting it wrong. Starting pitcher who's pretty much a number two. Pretty much is gonna
Right.
be Garrett Cole and this guy from the Oakland A's. The 1-2 punch, the way it looks, if the playoffs started today, like, he's automatically the number two. So Severino's down right now on a
Right.
60-day injury, IL, for shoulder strain. Herman's been in and out, giving up a lot of home run balls. So we don't know if
Mm-hmm.
he's going to be a plug and play, maybe a bullpen guy. Uh, and we just gave away Jordan Montgomery, like we said earlier. So
Right. Right.
we got this guy coming in. It's going to be Garrett Cole. This guy coming off the Oakland A's. And then we still got Nestor Cortez, Talion, who's been very iffy lately.
Mm-hmm.
Very iffy lately. But
Mm-hmm.
we made those pitching moves. But another move that I thought was very good that for a rival of us is the Astros. They went out and got Trey Mancini from the Orioles.
Saw that. Saw that. I'm a little surprised. I'm surprised the Orioles dealt it. But again, like I said at the top of all this, I was surprised that many people were dealt. So I guess in the end I shouldn't be. But yeah, I mean, I hate the Astros for getting him, but it was a slick move for sure.
They went out, they got Trey Mancini from the Orioles. They ended up getting Christian Vasquez, the catcher from the Boston Red Sox, because they
Saw
really
that.
needed some catcher help.
I saw that they traded him like 10 seconds before like the national anthems. Like he's mid interview and like a Sox official pulls him away. It's like, hey, fucking walk across the field. You're no longer on the team. Like I obviously that's not exactly what was said.
Your dugout's over there, you filthy animal.
Yeah, right. Go grab a trash can, you bastard. Like, damn. Baseball's a ruthless fucking sport.
Yeah, no, yeah. And I thought it was a crazy move. You know what blows my mind, though, is the way the Orioles have been playing, though. The way the Orioles have been playing, they're making this crazy push into a wild card position. Why would you trade one of your best players and trade Mancini? But then again, if you really think about it, it makes a smart move. They're making moves and trying to bring these prospects up. They have probably 5 of the top, 50 prospects, or probably 5 of the top 25 prospects in the minor league system in their fucking minor leagues farm roster. And wanting to bring them up. They just drafted this #1 overall pick and gave him an $8 million signing bonus and Matt Holliday's son, a fucking phenomenal shortstop. So we don't know what they're going to be able to do in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
But they want these players to come up now, get experience, and get the winning culture now. And even if they don't win all the way yet, just MLB experience ball will come a long way in the next year or two.
Yeah, they're definitely playing the long game. Because, I mean, look, the Orioles have done far better than anyone has anticipated. They're plus 500. Makes everybody in the AL East plus 500, which is fucking obnoxious that we have to continue to play in the best league in baseball. But it makes everybody in the AL East above 500. They are making an honest push at the wild card, but at a certain point, if you're the Orioles organization, you look around at the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Sox, the Padres, the Mets, and you think to yourself, there's no fucking way. There just is not an percentage wise, there's zero fucking chance we can make it to the World Series nonetheless win it. So, not blow everything up, because I agree with you. They're playing plus 500 baseball in one of the hardest fucking divisions in baseball. So don't blow everything up, but let's kind of start stacking that future roster. Let's get these, like you said, let's get these guys some experience. Let's get the winning culture established.
Catcher. They just brought up the catcher earlier this year, who's playing phenomenal.
Yep. So I mean, yeah, they're definitely playing the long game. I mean, it's not like I'm afraid of the Orioles in 5 years, because it's still the fucking Yankees, and they're still the fucking Orioles. But they are definitely playing the long game in a MLB that's playing the short ball, trying to win now. They're definitely looking towards the future. Oh, excuse me, looking towards the future.
In all, and before we get on to the next topic, Aaron Judge for MVP. He's probably going to break Roger Maris's record of 61 home runs, Yankees franchise record. I wouldn't doubt if he gets close to 67. I'm not going to say Barry Bonds 73, but I'm saying 67.
I'm saying 70, bro.
I'm saying 67.
Are we including the postseason in this, or are we just regular season?
Just regular season. I'm saying
I got 70.
67.
I got 70, which isn't a huge leap. I don't think 67 or 70 is a huge.
It's going to be so hard, but I'm saying 67, which would be 6 more than the Yankees franchise record at 61.
Let's do it. And then fucking sell him high in the offseason.
If that happens, Yankees are going to send this is the Yankees contract for him. 10 years, $485 million plus signing bonus, blah, 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 blah. That will make him the highest paid player in baseball.
I wouldn't be angry about a 10-year contract.
they would give him that. If he says no, it's because the money. He's trying to get that 500 something.
I think I don't disagree, but like I've said in the past, I think he's going to try and shoot more for time. Like an 8 to 10 year contract, I wouldn't be angry with. But if they're shooting for 10 plus years, now see that's where I think it's dead in the water, because 10 is even at the upper echelon for me of what I think he's worth time wise. But yeah, no, I we'll see. I'm hoping. I would love it. I'd absolutely love it.
Last thing for baseball, rest in peace to long broadcaster Vin Scully for the LA Dodgers. Lived a long life. He reminds me of a Bob Shepard of the Yankees. He was one of those voices. He's one of those voices. A lot of World Series, a lot of playoffs, a lot of history. To his family, to baseball.
God
He's
bless.
one of those goats.
Yep. And we'll take it right on over. We'll start off, you know what? Let's start off with Deshaun Watson. We'll end on Thomas Edward Brady. So let's start off with Deshaun Watson. So, as everybody knows, unless you've been living under an actual fucking rock, Deshaun Watson, we're not going to go through the whole thing, but had sexual assault cases against him, had civil suits because they were just declined to indict. The NFL and the NFLPA sought a third-party arbitration through Miss Sue L. Robinson, who is a federal judge. She looked at both sides. The NFL, I said it in a TikTok, and I'll say it again here. These are the facts as I know them. The NFL presented 4 out of those 20-plus cases because they felt that they were the best cases that they could bring forward. They acted as the prosecution, seeking for a year-plus suspension. Obviously, Deshaun Watson acted as the defense. And in the end, Miss Robinson decided to rule that he while it's very weird, while she didn't say he's innocent, but he violated the league's conduct policy is how she put it. And because of the league's conduct policy, it only allows for 6 games. But while he didn't violently offend anything, he still deserves a suspension of 6 games, cannot use outside masseuses. Like, he can only use Cleveland Brown masseuses. Like, it's just a weird, you didn't do anything wrong, but you did.
You didn't do it, but you didn't do it. But because of the NFL's rules, the minimum I can give you is 6 games, so I'm going to just give you 6 games.
That's pretty much how it was. It very much read very weird, you know. And look, I can't believe I'm doing this. I am the world's biggest Roger Goodell hater, maybe outside of Dave Portnoy. I might come second to Dave Portnoy, but I fucking hate Goodell. I think he's a clown. I think he is awful. But what the NFL did here was actually, I think, the best thing that they could have possibly done. Is they sought third-party arbitration because they realized, fuck, we gave Ray Rice 2 games, and then the video of him dragging his unconscious girl out of the elevator came out, and we fucked up. So they didn't fuck this thing with a 10-foot pole. They let somebody else do it. And now it broke today that they are, in fact, appealing this decision, are seeking a multi-million-dollar fine and an indefinite suspension.
It makes no fucking sense, bro. Like, come on. You suspend Josh Gordon 25 plus games for weed. You suspend Calvin Ridley 17 plus games for gambling. But you suspend Deshaun Watson 6 games for over 25 civil suits of sexual assault. 25 were settled. 1 was dropped. 1 is still ongoing. To me, in my eyes, as long as 1 is still ongoing, that man should not touch the football field.
I agree with you. So, first point blank, I agree with that.
I don't care about the other 25 that's settled or the 1 that was dropped. As long as 1 is still ongoing, that man does not step foot within 50 feet of a facility.
I agree Wholeheartedly, bro. And I'll take it one step further. Just because you settled a case doesn't mean you're innocent. The dregs of the internet have fucking come out in droves over this. Well, he's innocent. He's innocent. See, they settled. They were just, that's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. And just because he's settled does not mean he's innocent. Doesn't mean he's guilty, but it doesn't mean he's innocent. Like, let's not pretend here. And I can't, again, I'm taking the side of the NFL here. I'm happy they used through third party arbitration, although she completely dropped the fucking ball here. But I'm also happy to hear that they're not taking this lightly, that they're not just up 6 games. See, look, guys, we did our best. We brought in a federal judge. We made our case. We did our best. We're sorry. It didn't work out. Okay, play football. No, they're seeking a minimum of a 1-year suspension for this. Honestly, they're seeking an indefinite suspension, but but they'll take a minimum of 1 year. And I have to say, I'm actually finally fucking proud of the NFL standing up and doing something like this. And I'd love to see them take it one step further and investigate the fucking Texans ownership and the Browns ownership. I would like to see both of those teams suffer some sort of penalty because you both knew ahead of time. You both knew that the Texans had these 60 plus masseuses sign fucking NDAs.
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling me the Cleveland Browns, with rumblings of this going on, didn't hire the world's finest investigators to go do this?
Mm-hmm.
To go check out what was going on? Everybody knew. Everybody knew what it was. And I think the NFL, and I still call on the NFL to up their investigation to both of those league front offices and ownerships.
I stand by and it sounds stupid. It sounds cliche. It sounds fucking retarded. But if you're going to suspend somebody for marijuana, or suspend somebody for gambling, or suspend somebody for PED, for X amount of games or indefinitely, or suspend or blackball somebody out the NFL for taking a kneel for injustice, but you have someone sexually assaulting women and you 6 games? 6 games?
And I'm going to call out all of the dregs. I hope no people like this listen to our podcast, but in case you fucking do, stop. I don't want you
to allow the contract bullshit where since they knew he was going to get suspended, they only pay him $1 million this year.
I agree. I hope they fine him a minimum of half of his contract. And let me make this shit clear. If you're one of those motherfuckers who are like, oh, well, yeah, of course Colin Kaepernick should be kicked out of the league. He didn't stand for the national anthem. What the fuck? He doesn't love this country. He should be kicked out. And then you turn around and say, well, Deshaun Watson wasn't. It's innocent until proven guilty. Innocent until proven guilty. Deshaun Watson doesn't deserve to be suspended or fined. Or blah, 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 blah. Stop listening to my podcast. Get the fuck off my socials. Don't fucking get out of here. I don't want any of those kind of people on my shit. I'm making that shit real fucking loud and clear right now because that's some bullshit. One man, now I'm not a Colin Kaepernick fan. I just don't think he's a good quarterback, and I think he's a loudmouth, quite frankly. But I don't think he should be fucking blackballed for what he did. One man exercised constitutional right. Can that get you fired for a job? Absolutely. Because the Constitution doesn't protect you from your employer. But to blackball from the NFL, bullshit. Colin Kaepernick should have a job. Drew Lock shouldn't. That's bullshit. But for a man to be out here with 20-something plus assault cases, and you're sitting there saying, oh, no, he shouldn't be. It's innocent until proven guilty. Please send me your address at breakingdownthetape at yahoo.com and I will fucking pull up.
Didn't Kareem Hunt get more for his incident in the hotel with the girl?
It was either 6 to 8 games. It was around,
which is why they traded him to the Browns.
Yeah, it was around the same. It was around the same time or a little bit longer. I think it was like 6 to 8 games.
I think he got 8.
Yeah, that's the thing that blows my mind is where I don't even want to talk about the fucking court case side of it all. As far as the football side of it all, this depending on how, I don't know how long the appeal process is going to last, but we know Deshaun Watson is out a minimum of 6 games. If the NFL has their way, it's all season. If they meet somewhere in the middle, it's going to be 8 to 9 games. What are the Browns doing this season? They've got Jacoby Brissett at the helm as of
I
right
know,
now. They've
I know
got Josh Rosen in backup.
I know they played the Jets in those first 6 weeks, and they're catching an L.
Yes, they are. Yeah, I mean, this is, I think this is one of those things that even if the NFL loses, it's only 6 weeks. The distraction that surrounds this, I don't see the Browns doing much. They might come ahead of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that's pretty much it. I think they're back to the bottom of the division.
I just this whole the NFL is so ass backwards when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
what's important and what's not.
No, I agree. That's why again, all this is a terrible example. That's why I hope they move forward and continue to use a third party arbitrator to settle these cases, because they've clearly shown that, oh, we think weed is the devil. You can't play for 2 years if you smoke weed, but beating your girlfriend is
It shows you tough. Good
yeah,
linebacker.
fuck that bitch. Like what? Like, come on now. Like, you can't smoke the devil's lettuce for pain management, but you can beat your wife. Yay for the NFL. Like, so no,
It
again,
shows
this
how
is
strong you are for those 20 reps of 225.
right. Like, your strength is calling. Did you use your right hand 25 times and your left hand 20? You got to make sure those muscles are even. Like, what the fuck? So I'm happy, even though this is the shit example, that they brought in a third party arbitrator, because hopefully this will mean more educated penalties, more rational penalties. I still want justice for Calvin Ridley. Do I think he should be suspended? Yeah. But do I think it should be a whole season for betting on a game that he wasn't involved in? No. Come on now.
I
Like,
mean,
stop.
I see for shit like that when it comes to like the betting and shit like that. It's a fine line that you walk across, right?
I agree.
So you have to look at it in multiple ways. Like, are you betting against or for your team? If you're betting for your team, or you're betting on a sport that you have no association with,
Right.
I don't see kind of nothing wrong with that.
Right.
If you're betting against your team, or you're betting, in a sport that you're associated with or something, then it's like, okay, now you're teetering in like a realm that we can say, all right, you're tampering, you're doing something illegal, blah 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 blah. It's
See, for me, so I agree with you. For me, it's as simple as, if you're an active player on an active roster, fine, I'll agree with no gambling whatsoever on your sport. I completely agree on that. But if you're an inactive member of your team, so you take a step away, you're on the pup, you're cut, whatever that you practice squad, right? Whatever the deal may be, why can't you bet on your game? You can't affect the outcome. You can't affect the outcome, so what does it matter? If you're on the pup list, if you're taking a step away, you're on the commissioner's exempt list, whatever the deal may be, what is it? You can't go out there and affect the outcome, positive or negative.
like, if it came out that you went out and you were like, yeah, I bet that I won't score, you put money on the under that you'd score a touchdown in a game, and then you catch a easy touchdown pass, and we see you walk out of bounds
Right.
or something. Like,
I just
I
think there
get
needs to
that.
be common sense involved.
Come on,
But
like,
that's the problem with the NFL, is they just lay down these blanket punishments, and it's just like, oh, gambling bad, weed bad, beating your girlfriend not so bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's their issue. So
like
I'm happy
shooting,
we're moving.
shooting schools. Okay.
Yeah, like, what? Like, it's just not. They're not consistent. They're not intelligent. The NFL has shown that they have two collective brain cells, and they're both fighting for third place. So I'm happy that they're bringing in a third party arbitrator. I'm hopefully it's yet to be determined what goes on with this case, but hopefully we start to see better and more common sense disciplinary actions out of the NFL, with a third party arbitrator.
Speaking of other things that need to be disciplinary, is the fuck that's going on over here with the Miami fucking Dolphins, Tom Brady and Sean Payton.
So you stole the words right out of my mouth. I was about to roll right into it. Yet again, Thomas Edward Brady finds himself in the middle of controversy in Miami and Tampa.
Quick question. So we get all these, stories and questions of people that are great in history that are scandaled by cheating.
Yeah.
A-Rod could have been the greatest home run hitter. Probably hit close to 800 home runs if he wasn't suspended the 1 year for PED. Finished out his last year. He would have hit close to 800 home runs and broke the record. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, all these PEDs, MLB with all these PEDs. You got basketball with guys that sometimes get popped. Football with guys popping. You get all these scandals of this shit. When do we question Tom Brady's legacy because of all his cheating scandals? Or not, because not all the scandals are cheating, but technically this is a scandal that it's another like
it's rigging the game. We as a society never will, because of Tom Brady's. Let me correct that. We as a society will not in the next 50 years, because his story is too good.
He's too loved.
It's too good. The 6th round, nobody, 192nd pick, nobody. Then there's the Bill Belichick, with the New York Jets, and then he leaves 12 hours later for the Patriots, and you know what I mean? The drama and the story and the rise and the dominance, it's too good. In this lifetime, you can't question it, because then you're just a hater. You're just hating on the GOAT. But I think that history.
I can hate the GOAT, but still call the man the GOAT.
Let's
call it what it is.
I think history will not be as kind to Tom Brady as he thinks it will be. I think as time goes on and the love affair that Tom Brady and society have starts to dwindle, and the generation that watched and lived through this meteoric rise and domination, as we die, and our children and our children's children start to examine the game and make an they're going to make a 30 for 30 the second he retires, right? Obviously. But when they make their own Michael Jordan-esque Last Dance documentary. Say again?
The first, second, and third time he retires.
Yeah, well, fair enough. That's a very fair question. But once history starts to look, at the deep dive into, then I think his legacy will start to be questioned. But that's another 50, 60, 70 years away.
You got the Tuck rule. You got the Tuck rule, which he's come out and already said, like, yeah, maybe that was a fumble. You know what? Maybe it was a bullshit ass call. You got Deflategate.
Spygate.
You got Spygate. You got Watergate. you got
every kind of gate there is, you bastard.
They found every gate to go through and they used it. And then you got Miami Dolphins Disney Gate.
This is tampering on it. So to fill the average viewer in on what the fuck happened this offseason, there were rumors that Tom Brady could have potentially been a Dolphin, that he was going to go to the Dolphins, not only as a part owner, but as their quarterback. And I'm not gonna lie, I was one of the first people that just completely dismissed it. I was like, no, that's clearly not gonna happen. Well, the joke the fuck is on me, because as it comes out, Stephen Ross, the owner for the Dolphins, fired Brian Flores apparently to make room for Sean Payton to bring in Tom Brady. And it's not like this was just a last year kind of thing. This goes back to 2019, Tom Brady's last season with the Patriots. It goes back to Sean Payton's last season with the Saints. And the Dolphins and Stephen Ross had contacted both of them during the season before their retirements, their alleged retirements, and came up with this plan that they would retire, free themselves of their contracts, and then come on down to Miami. Don't worry, we'll make way for you. We'll fire Flores. We'll get you the team that you want. And there you go. Now, the only thing that's come out of this that could be considered a positive for the Dolphins is they were found to not be tanking. They did not get paid to lose games.
But didn't we bring this up before? Didn't we said this in another episode? Isn't there a way, like, say you are Robert Salah, and I'm the New York Jets, and I signed you to a 10-year contract to the New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
By year 5, you retire. 1 year goes by, you unretire, and another team signs you. It's like a null and void out of your contract, so that someone else can just pick you up. And we called this. We said this in another episode where we were like, is it, because when we heard, because we did bring this up in one episode, where there were the rumors of the Miami Dolphins, Tom Brady, and we're like, what? That doesn't make fucking sense. Like, why would he go over there?
Right.
But we never heard anything about Sean Payton going over there.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's starting to make sense. You put Sean Payton with Tom Brady. Tom Brady has a player/office role, while Sean Payton has a head coach/office role.
Mm-hmm. And isn't that a so there's so many levels to this. Isn't that a conflict of interest? How can you be a part owner of a team while still playing for a team?
I mean, there's players coaches. There were player coaches before and shit like that. Like,
well, yeah, back in the fucking 40s.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Just because you don't see it now doesn't mean it still can't happen. There's player coaches. Like, you can still do that.
I guess. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know.
I don't know about player owners, but like, I mean, it still happens. Like, Tom Brady has, I guarantee you, Tom Brady has, stakes and ownerships in like the New England Patriots way before he even left the Patriots.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Something about being an owner and a player on a team just like screams conflict of interest to me. And I mean, and obviously, like, he wouldn't be a majority owner, so it's not like he could affect decisions by himself. But I don't know. It just rings strange. It just rings weird, But kind of going back to your original question, it's one thing to use a camera to tape another team's practice and try and cheat that way. It's one thing to, try and illegally deflate balls for a game in which you destroyed the Colts anyway. So it's not like you needed to do it, but those, that's one thing to like cheat and win the tuck rule, to cheat and win an individual game. This is league manipulation on an unprecedented scale. This isn't just, okay, I'm going to cheat in this one game and try and win. It is, I am going to cheat in the league to build a super team. I'm gonna cheat and try and collude and manipulate.
The Monstars are coming,
right? Like that's the thing for me, is like, it's one thing to again, it's one thing to cheat and even try and cheat during the Super Bowl to win. Because Deflategate happened during the AFC Championship.
It's enough where you're building these bomb squads like the way Tom Brady does, where he knows now how to manage financially an
Mm-hmm.
organization to
Mm-hmm.
bring in the greatest talents to win a Super Bowl. It's one way to do that. It's one way to build, the big three, or whatever you want to fucking call it in whatever sport. But to like when does this like
Well, my thing is when does the other shoe drop? So, like, okay, so the Dolphins lost their first round pick next year. They lost their
and
third round
third
pick the
round?
year
Yeah,
following. And it's like an overall $2 million fine. I think it's 1.5 for the
yeah.
team and then 500,000 for the GM. Okay, fine. When does Tom Brady and Sean Payton get fined? When do they get suspended? When do they get punished? What are they, the victims here? Oh, the Dolphins called
Did
me.
we
It's
forget
not
Tom
my
Brady
fault.
got suspended a year? Did we forget Tom Brady got suspended a year?
Mm-hmm. Like that's my question: is
But
when?
we don't
What?
blemish Tom Brady's career.
Yeah.
See, he was suspended an entire season for cheating, and
Mm-hmm.
no one gives him a blemish on his career.
Mm-hmm. That's because we're still in the honeymoon phase. We're still in the enamored by the, like I said, the meteoric rise and dominance. We're still enamored by everything that is Tom Brady as a society. And I just why are Tom Brady and Sean Payton not being penalized? Like they answered the phone. They had these conversations. They went along with the plan. What are they,
And
victims?
Sean
Was
Payton's
Tom
been
Brady
suspended for
coerced?
cheating.
Say
Both of
again?
these guys have been suspended for cheating.
Mm-hmm. Were they coerced into, like, did the Dolphins hold Giselle with a gun to her head and said, if you don't fucking do this, we're gonna kill her? No, you engaged in these conversations. I'm not even gonna hold you. I think Tom Brady was the motherfucking mastermind. And Hector, that's a great motherfucking point that I didn't even put together until about 10 seconds ago, and it just hit me. Both of these men have been engulfed in cheating scandals. For Sean Payton, the whole bounty gate, paying players to injure another player, and Tom Brady with what we've already listed. Why is the league only punishing the Dolphins? Like, why is Tom Brady
Why
not
are we
suspended?
going after
Why
people
is
who are
Sean
so
Payton
weird?
disbarred? Sean Payton's not disbarred from the NFL, but he's already had a year suspension, colluding on an organization front office level. Tom
Why are
Brady
we
already
going
been
after
suspended for
people
cheating.
harder? We're going after people harder about PEDs and smoking weed and
Because it's
DUIs and all.
It's messing with the integrity of the game. If you take performance enhancing drugs, that means you can play better than another player, and that messes with the performance of the game. But apparently, colluding on a front office level doesn't. Apparently, abruptly and shockingly retiring from your team as a head coach or star quarterback to negate and void your contracts so that you could join another team who illegally fired their head coach. That's not wrong. That doesn't fuck with the integrity of the game.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm the fucking asshole. I guess fuck me, right? Like I don't know, man. I don't. It doesn't seem like another shoe was going to drop. It seems like the NFL is far too preoccupied with Deshaun Watson right now, and that's the crazy part. That's time. If I wish I wish I was smarter and brought down a roll of tinfoil so I could on screen put on a tinfoil hat. I wish I was smarter, but let's put on our fucking tinfoil hats here, right? Join me and we're gonna put on our tinfoil hats. What if? What if the front office, the NFL at large, knew that they were doing this investigation. They fucking found out about this Tom Brady thing, and who knows, maybe it goes even fucking deeper. So they offer up Deshaun Watson on a silver platter, and oh look, that maybe they like talk to the Texans because right, Deshaun Watson sits out a year. Maybe they were talking, maybe they weren't, and the NFL goes, fuck it, trade the guy, spring this shit into motion, and here we go. And but I'm not saying Deshaun Watson didn't do it. I'm not saying that they are planting evidence on him. I'm saying everybody knew he did it. And instead of protecting him and keeping him in Houston and blah, 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 the NFL was like, we're going to send him out there as the sacrificial lamb. So this becomes a huge scandal and we stop talking about Tom Brady. What if?
Stop talking about the white guy.
Look, I'm not saying that it ain't that way, but it wouldn't shock me if it is that way. Because
Hey,
we all know how sketchy the NFL is behind closed doors.
the
Dan
NFL is
Snyder.
the modern day slavery. They're
Bro,
literally the modern day slavery.
modern day slavery, the backdoor fucking deals that go into this shit, like it's insane to me, bro. I think
Like,
again,
I wouldn't want it. Like literally, the NFL is modern day slavery.
and the amount of it's something's I'm telling you, something big is going to happen here in the next 10 years because we're starting to see cracks in the levee. Like, it's one thing for kneeling on a football field or beating your wife or all of these things. That's one thing. But now we're starting to see cracks in the levee at an organizational level. Dan Snyder, still under investigation. We're seeing the light of day be shown on both the Cleveland Browns and the Houston Texans as just
Urban Meyer and the Jaguars.
Urban Meyer and the Jaguars. We're seeing, the spotlight be shined on these two organizations being shown as complete fucking shitbags for knowing that this shit was happening and let it happen. We're seeing that the Dolphins fucking potentially paid their leaders to lose and then colluded with two other major figures in the NFL to build this team. Like, the cracks are fucking, I forgot, John Gruden getting fired over the Dan Snyder emails. We saw even Adam Schefter take a hit in all of this with his text messages or emails or whatever giving. There was a period there where he was giving certain
the bull from the Giants leaking out with the Bill Belichick shit.
So I think, I don't know. I wonder if somebody is intentionally like trying to blow it up from the inside, and there's so much damage control being done by the NFL, or if it was just
Snowden.
or if it was just too big and gonna fail eventually. But we're starting to see a lot of cracks in the levee. The NFL likes to talk about protecting the shield, but who's protecting the shield? Because the shield's in trouble, bro.
NFL. Okay, so out of all the sports, the NFL is the one that I am the least comfortable with when it comes to, like, do I feel protected by this league?
Yeah,
I feel like I'm in a prison schoolyard.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that. It's fun for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And look, you can say what you want about baseball being old and racist. It is, but you don't hear any of this with baseball.
That MLB PA don't play.
No, they fucking do not. The MLB probably has one of the best unions in all of major sports because they do not fuck around with anything or anyone. They do not give a shit. They're like, oh, you want to cancel the season? Awesome. Go fuck yourself. We don't care. We will sit here and you will pay us. We are almost half billionaires. We do not give a fuck.
Player. They don't care.
They do not give a shit. The NFLPA, like, I don't know. Sometimes I think they're in fucking cahoots with Goodell. Sometimes I wonder how. Again, I know it's conspiracy theorists, and you can fucking hop in the comment section.
But I always agree with the NBA. The NBA and the NBA PA, like, they just have it. Like, they click. They're like, all right, bro.
Because Adam Silver's been.
We're gonna come up together.
Because Adam Silver's been at the cookout, bro. He's been to the for years. Adam
Silver, he's always welcome to the cookout.
I guarantee you, Adam Silver has like a universal N-word pass that he knows he's never going to use. But you know what I mean? Like, my man has been at the cookout, been condemning raisins and potato salad for decades now. This man's been there. And same thing with the NHL. The NHL, you don't hear shit out of hockey. They just play hockey. They just, every now and then, a team has an issue with a contract and they require arbitration, but nothing but business. You don't hear shit in the
greedy
NHL.
People. It's all about the greedy people.
Well, it's because the NFL, and I've said this and people don't understand the magnitude. The NFL is a $9 billion organization that takes away a day from the most long-standing, powerful organization on planet Earth. The NFL has taken the most high holy day away from the Catholic fucking Church. And then NFL, the Super Bowl Sunday is the most watched show in history every fucking year. Every year. They are so fucking big. And maybe that's why we're starting to see the cracks in the levee. We're starting to see, this monstrous pus monster start to bleed. But I think this is, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I think Dan Snyder, obviously John Gruden, I think Brian Flores, Stephen Ross, I think it's all connected. I think you're starting to see the inner web of these fucking ivory tower owners start to get exposed.
I hope. I mean, we know how that works. They're just so high up. These owners are so high up. They'll never truly fall. Someone always gonna take the blame for them.
Mm-hmm.
But
They're just like they sacrificed John Gruden. The second things got a little bit too hot with the Dan Snyder situation. They're like, fuck John Gruden. Fire his ass. He talks too much. He runs his mouth. He says the word bitch on air. Fire his ass. There he goes. Toodles. But I'd love to see the NFL pull their head out of their ass and fucking finally penalize Tom Brady for this shit, because you can't tell me that he wasn't a major orchestrator. That Stephen Ross came out of nowhere and was like, hey, Tom, would you like to come play for your division rivals? I'll let you own part of the team. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I think Tom Brady fucking orchestrated this thing, personally.
you heard it here, guys. Tom Brady is the mastermind with Roger Goodell behind the NFL. And with that said, stay tuned next week for Breaking Down the Tape when we bring back the first episode of The Degenerates. We'll have the live drawing for our mock draft, where we're going to be drafting for this year, and all the goodies, because The Degenerates is back. Season 5 is happening, and I'm ready to bring back this chip that's still in my house but just belongs to my wife, who's the reigning champ.
Hector's not allowed to touch it until he wins it back. But no, this year I work overnights. I am prepared to run the waiver wire. I've made the playoff once in 4 years of seasons. I'm going for twice. I'm going for the second playoff berth. But first episode of Degenerates is going to be live, guys. Don't forget, go to Instagram. It's a pinned post for the giveaway for Flash Cap. As always, shout out Flash Cap. And I got nothing else for you. Do your thing.
He said what he said.